this month, there was an article that came out from Politico, and it made the rounds. And it was about how Antifa's actions were declared domestic terrorists. And there was one spot in particular that the YouTuber I like, named Bong, is going to read for you. But I really want to hone in on it from this article.
The Department of Homeland Security has described Antifa as domestic terrorist violence, according to an article on Politico.
They claim to have no leader and no hierarchy, but authorities following them believe they are organized via decentralized networks of cells that coordinate with each other.
They claim to have no leader and no hierarchy, but authorities following them believe they are organized via decentralized networks of cells that coordinate with each other. One of the things I really wanted to hone in on was the fact that Antifa is basically a movement, and then there's several groups within the movement, and they work together. They absolutely work together, and those separate groups have leadership and have a hierarchy, which I mentioned in my video, Many Sides Who is Antifa. And I made up this graphic to illustrate the fact that Antifa is an umbrella and all the other groups fall underneath it. So I went ahead and put Antifa on the umbrella, and it's going down, IDG. That's actually as best as I can tell, I could be wrong. But as best as I can tell, it's a blog that everybody from the various groups use. So I went ahead and put the various groups underneath the umbrella, and I just want to go through them very quickly. Starting over on the right here, on the far right, but not on the far right. On the far right, but on the far left. I should have put them opposite, but anyway. BA Speaks Revolution, Nothing Less. That is RevCom, or Revolutionary Communist Party. Two current or semi-current organizations that are projects of the Revolutionary Communist Party are Refuse Fascism and Stop Patriarchy. Tying Revolutionary Communist Party and Refuse Fascism together, it's so easy because, like, for example, in my video that introduced the Communist Constitution, you see Sansara Taylor. She is a top-ranking member in both of these organizations, and she even sits there with the no signs behind her and pushes the RevCom Constitution. They're basically one and the same. There are so many pictures of them, and the RevCom website for their newspaper, it has instances where they are talking about Refuse Fascism, and they have the no graphic and so on and so forth. Stop Patriarchy, that was another project that I'm not sure if she was the sole initiator, but definitely it was tied to Sansara Taylor, and they used that to suck into their movement women who are concerned about women's rights. Then Code Pink is basically the same thing. I'm not sure how tied they are to Revolutionary Communist Party, but that woman who, if you saw my video that introduced the Constitution, Sansara Taylor talked about a woman getting arrested for laughing. It wasn't laughing. It actually was. I actually found the information quite by accident that this woman was indeed charged for disturbing the peace, and she did indeed disturb the peace. It was not any little giggle. You can hear it. I found one piece of footage on it, and the woman was like, ah, ah, ah. It was not a giggle. Anyway, so that woman, I'm getting to the point why I was bringing this up. That woman has been seen on Refuse Fascism videos working with them. There's one video where she basically recorded Sansara. At least I'm pretty sure it's her. It sure looks like her. I mean, I always want to caution in case there's the off chance that she just looks very, very much like somebody else. But there is a video with this woman who got charged for laughing, who's tied to Code Pink, where it appears like it's her recording Sansara going off in a board, not a board meeting, in sort of a city council meeting in Berkeley. So, if she's entrusted with filming that for their organization, they definitely put some stock in her and have some ties to her. The organizations are not working separately. And also, she admitted that Rafael Caderas, that's the guy that seems to run the San Francisco area chapter of Refuse Fascism / Revolutionary Communist Party. She admitted in that Constitution introduction video that he was at a protest that was basically mostly Code Pink members. Occupy Wall Street. They're the same people. I'm going to lay that out in another video. Answer Coalition. This is a charming organization that likes to support Palestinians, or at least they had one instance where they did that. So they don't like me very much. Then we go over here to the other side of the umbrella, and we have BAM. If you don't know who BAM is, everybody knows who BAM is. If you don't know who BAM is, just do a search for Yvette Falarka, and she is tied to BAM, and you will find out who BAM is. Black Lives Matter. You know, pigs in a blanket, fry 'em like bacon. They're actually part of the Communist Revolution, and the president of the New York chapter of BLM is seen. He's tied to Refuse Fascism. He's been seen at their protests a few times. And he was on their YouTube channel. He is definitely protesting right alongside them. Leading into what the Politico article said, where it's decentralized networks of cells that coordinate with each other. By cells, those are the various groups. Then we have Party for Socialism and Liberation. That's another group that brings people to protests. Same thing with Workers' World Party. They were the ones that were, their logo was seen at the videos where they tore down one of the statues. Not pushed for the government to do it, but they just went up on a woman affiliated with them, went up on a ladder and tore down the statues. People's Power Assembly, that's just another one that I've seen. This RAM here with the star, that's the group that their recruitment video is on my video, Many Sides, who is Antifa. And basically their shtick is that they want to burn down America. Isn't that wonderful? No, it's not. No, it's not. And down here at the bottom of this graphic are two groups that are basically blogs similar to IDG. I didn't look at them very thoroughly, but I don't see these logos at protests. I could be missing them. But when I do look at their websites, they do hone in on basically articles and stuff. And these are sites that are kind of within the movement. So interestingly, I want to introduce a vocabulary word, Vanguardism. And in the context of the theory of Marxist revolutionary struggle, basically a communist overthrow, it's strategy whereby a group works that considers themselves class conscious and politically advanced. In other words, they're the group that wants to do the revolutionary struggle. They describe themselves as the vanguard, and they basically lead the way. They form organizations or recruit existing organizations in order to draw larger sections of the working class towards revolutionary politics. In other words, Revolutionary Communist Party, they just actively recruit, similar to street evangelists. They go to places where they think people will be interested in their message, and they get their party members, and they go out and they try to talk them into joining their movement. They say, get into Babavakian, get into the revolution, you gotta get into this. It kind of sounds weird and awkward to me. And I'm sure if you've watched all my videos, you've already seen this on some of the videos. But I've even seen posts where they post that they want their people to go to such and such area to recruit people. Like, let's go to a black concert to try to recruit black people. Or, let's go to a Bernie Sanders speech to try to recruit people who are socialists but not necessarily communists. And you definitely see that communists like to call themselves socialists, because communism is kind of a dirty word for anybody who lived through the Cold War. So you see them trying to hide behind a veil of it being socialism and not communism.